Hey everybody, Tasha here with another process video, this time featuring my son, the pirate. Now first I've got a cut that I kind of sort of designed, but it's from design ID 80356. That is a Echo Park cut file in the Silhouette store. It is part of their Pirates Life collection that they have a few different print and cuts and cut files from, and that is most of what I'm going to end up using on this layout is from Echo Park's Pirates Life collection. And I bought this thinking I'm going to use 6x6 paper pads because I like the look of making these silhouette cuts and kind of backing them with pattern paper. And of course, 6x6 pads are a little easier to do that with because of the scaled down patterns. So I'm going through and picking 5, or first I went with 4 and then I realized, oh, there's a blue. There's several blues actually in this collection and I don't have a blue. So I'm going to go ahead and get that. It's a very light blue with an even lighter blue little fish design. I'm just going to figure out exactly about how big I need my little rectangular pieces of patterned paper to be. Go ahead and cut one to test it out and then get to cutting the rest. Now one thing, I did do my design very small, so the top of the skull and the jaw were not actually connected. So there was this tiny little wiggly piece for, it was kind of like a zigzag for the mouth. I had to be a little careful when pulling it off of my mat because of that. And I did have one tear, but in the end you can't see it because I did go ahead and just use the same liquid glue to kind of put that back into place as I did to put down all of my little pieces. And I am going to use multi medium matte. That way if anything comes out the side, it will dry nice and matte and clear and you won't be able to see it. So I'm just kind of figuring out exactly where I might want these things to go. And I did get a little off in the end. I don't know if I got two of my rows mixed up or what, but I had two pirate, like, or not pirates, excuse me, two of the skull and crossbone pattern papers right next to each other, and I didn't mean to do that. In the end, I mean, it's a good mix of colors, so I'm not really worried about it. I do wish I had moved those around just a tiny bit. Alright, so get all of that down. And I'm going to put a lot of foam adhesive on there because I do not want this to collapse over time. I use a lot of adhesive, and if you've watched my videos before, you know I say I make no apologies for this because I want to make sure that everything sticks in place. And so far, I have not had a problem. So I did leave a little bit of room up there with my above my 3 rows of skull and crossbones because I wanted to. I'm actually using a sketch for this, which is from, let me get my paper here, Page Maps January sketches, the January 2016. There were some very cute sketches, and there's one that has kind of a split of patterned paper. So I did it slightly different, and I can leave a link below for those to that PDF so you can look at them yourself. You might be able to figure out which one it is that I'm talking about. But I left a little bit of headroom above the top on the excuse me, on my white cardstock. I did leave a little bit of extra cardstock there at the top because the sketch shows a border there, and I went ahead and wanted to add a little extra color. So here I am taking the 12 by 12 sheet. It is just called Blue, Light and Light Blue. And I'm going to use the obviously blue portion of it for a piece to kind of mat on the inside. And my diagonal piece, which is called Pirate Stripes, that will be my larger piece for the background. So that's a design I go to time and time again, is kind of cutting down a smaller piece and having some type of stripe usually as a frame around the entire design. And if it's not broke, don't fix it. So I'm going to keep doing that. I like that look. So I decide here that I did like the border that they actually have, which is a scallop border on the sketch. So I'm using my EK Success double embossed scallop is what I think it is called. It is not really a heavy embossing. I don't know why they named it that. It is a bad name, but it is a gorgeous large scallop. It's probably my most used punch as well. And I'm just going to cut that off with my scissors because it is a pain getting that huge trimmer up and down. And you're not going to see it anyways because I decided to take that black and white skull and crossbone border sticker from the Pirate's Life sticker sheet. I went a little overboard with the specific to pirate themed pieces from that collection, but I really don't know how often I'm going to be able to use specific pirate pieces, so I had photos for it. I'm going to use it. I got a little crazy with my adhesive there, and some of it kind of went through the scallops, so I just take my scissors and kind of push it back into place. Put that on there and cut off the excess. For some reason I had a hard time getting that to go right to the top. And you can see my design start to take shape. And these are of my son with a painted face. This was 20, let me try to figure out when this was. I think August of 2014. It might have been July. No, July of 2014. We went on a cruise, and one night he went to the kids program that they have on the ship, and they had a pirate night where they painted everybody's faces to look like a pirate. So I got that starting to adhere everything, which is not something I usually do towards the beginning of it, but I was really liking the way this was coming together, so here I might as well go ahead and start adhering pieces down. I'm trying to figure out, I want something to map my photo on something. And this black piece that has tiny little plus signs ended up being the winner. A little bit of extra pattern, but it kind of fades a little bit. I didn't want it to kind of jump out at you since I do have a lot going on down there at the bottom with all the skull and crossbones being backed by the different pieces of pattern paper. And I cut that and end up cutting it with my scissors again. I don't know. It was just a little too wide of a border for me. I'm going to go ahead and cut all the rest of my photos up. Now you'll see here I've got some banner stickers up there. Those don't actually make it to the final design. And I decided that all of my skulls needed the eyes and noses placed back in because it was just a little barren. I mean, you can tell from obviously from the outline what it is, but I just thought this might look a little bit better, and in the end it was a good decision. And again, I'm using my multimedia matte so that anything that ends up kind of squishing out the sides, it doesn't really matter. And I'm not going to make you watch all of that. I'll just let you see that I did put in the skull piece. That way I could get all of the little pieces in the right spots. And I was having a lot of trouble. That bottle is almost empty. I'm probably going to have to switch to my new one here in a little bit. we go. And it just helps the design just a little bit, I think. And I do have a piece of paper over there, pattern paper, that I punched with a binding edge. I didn't show that because I don't actually end up keeping it. It is in the sketch that there was a little piece of paper coming out with a binding edge, so I thought, oh, I'll try it. But in the end, it just didn't work for my particular layout. I don't know why I decided that I needed to be so precise with cutting that mat for that photo. But I did. Now I'm trying to figure out what to put with this other photo. And I do decide to use the text paper. And I couldn't find the dies that I usually use to cut like a banner end. I decided I really want a banner end on the end of this. So I just kind of scored along the edge of a banner die. That one has stitching on the end. Normally I would kind of push my pattern paper up underneath the die a little bit and run it through and keep the top portion out on top of the actual die so that only my end would be cut. But without being able to find my just regular solid no stitching edges die to it, I couldn't do that. That worked just as well though. And here I am. Oh, what exactly I was doing there? I do end up, I thought I was doing, I thought I was cutting that little polka dot envelope. That is actually from Fancy Pants. I want to say it's the Down the Shore collection. I have both Down the Shore and Nautical, but I think I only got the envelopes for Down the Shore. I do end up cutting the back of that off because my title is going to it's going to start on that, and I didn't want one letter being quite a bit higher. Those are very thick and they kind of bubble up just a little bit, I guess, to make room for whatever you might want to put in there. And it made my title kind of off in the end. So I cut the back piece of that off, and I kept trying to put that other pattern paper piece in, and I realized I need something that's just a little quieter and calmer and go with this red piece. And in the sketch, they show that there's a piece at the back like that that has a file tab kind of top. I do not have a file tab kind of edge die or anything that I can use like that, so I went with a punch that I have and decided to kind of trace along the edge of that where I wanted it. And I'm going to refer to the sketch because I like where they had theirs. They had it there closer to the left side. So I'm just going to trace along that and then cut there. And that was a pretty good substitute. I will put some file edge dies on my wish list, but so I can remember to pick them up. But this did work in a pinch. I'm just gonna trim those edges off. And it didn't quite cut perfectly, but that's okay. Get in there and clean that up a little bit. And ta-da! A file edge top. Or file tab top. I'm just kind of figuring out where I want some of my elements to go. And the title is going to be just Aargh, because that's what he was saying. He was holding up his little imaginary sword saying Aargh. And like I said, I'm trying to use a lot of the more pirate themed. They've got a lot on these little sticker sheets that are just general nautical kind of designs, like fun at sea and go where the wind takes you and things like that. But walk the plank, that's definitely a little more true piratey. So I wanted to make sure I got that in there. And I do like where I had it up there at the top. But I don't like the fact that it has such a strong, and here's where I cut that off. Okay. I don't like the walk the plank sticker because it's just rectangular and that kind of looked out of place there at the top for me. So I'm actually going to take that same file piece that I used to, a file punch that I used to create my little file tab top on my 6x6 red piece of pattern paper. I am going to cut that walk the plank the same way. The only problem is when I do that, the left side of it kind of disappears behind my red file tab, but the other side kind of ends abruptly. So I do have to find something that will kind of hide that a little bit for me because I didn't quite like the way that it worked. So I'm going to start hearing things because I am liking the way this is coming together. And I apologize if it sounds like that I am all over the place. I kind of am. It is now 11:35 p.m. And I'm trying to go ahead and get this done because I've got another one that I have to have up for next week. Or really later this week, actually. I'm going to start adhering. And I'm going to use this captain's wheel or helm, which has a little banner across it that says adventure. Just for a little something to kind of soften the harsh edge of that text paper. And I am going to cover up the top of that little text paper piece. Journey is there, but it's cut off. The J is cut off just partially. I didn't really like the way that was looked, so I am going to, I can't remember what the sticker says at this moment, but I am going to add a little sticker there. And I did take my title from the sticker sheet, the alpha sticker sheet there, from the Pirates Life collection, but I like for my titles to be up a little bit and have a little extra dimension, so I did put it on foam tape. Luckily, the pieces are kind of wide and it was easy to do that with. So there's where I'm cutting that walk the plank sticker to kind of have a file looking edge. But right there on the right side, I don't like the way it kind of ends abrupt and then you have the other harsh edge of the red piece of paper. So I'm going to get some fancy pants pieces here and I'm going to get one of the buttons. I cannot remember which one that is from, but it's either Down the Shore or Nautical Collection. And I have some yellow and white twine there on my desk already. Go ahead and just use that to kind of faux thread the button. I don't actually sew it on. I just kind of put it on there and let the adhesive hold it in place. I'm going to use that Pirates Life flag sticker from the sticker sheet. So I end up with the Pirates Life flag, the adventure banner across the captain's wheel there, and the walk the plank sticker. I kind of like to do things in threes. So that was my way of kind of doing that. And I didn't do it intentionally. I didn't set out to do that. It just happened to be the way that I ended up putting on stickers. And I'm like, oh, this looks better. Spread out this way. So I'm trying to figure out how to use some of these little fancy pants label stickers. And I end up only using one tiny little tab top that has a blue sailboat. Oh, I think that says Shiver Me Timbers. And there's my son checking my work. Well, now, of course, enamel dots. The perfect little pop of color. Probably the best embellishment ever invented. I am going to try my best to use this little yellow anchor enamel shape from my mind's eye. It does not make it to the final design. But I do decide to use some red, yellow, and some of the light blue in my three kind of main areas. And then I had that one anchor there at the top, and I didn't really like having just the one. So again, I'm going to try to use that yellow one in a different spot, that yellow enamel anchor, and it's not working for me. So I decide I've got some old Studio Calico anchors from their Atlantic collection, I'm pretty sure is what it came out with. That they're darker wood, and they kind of match that Walk the Plank sticker up there at the top. So it gave me the perfect way to kind of tie in my Walk the Plank sticker with the wood grain and give me a couple more anchors to kind of not make that one seem so random. And I do handwrite my journaling on the blue piece of paper. I did not record that because I'm very self-conscious about my handwriting, and I'm pretty sure I would have messed up if I was recording it. So there is me adhering the anchors, and I will kind of do a quick run through, show you the main three areas. I should have slowed the speed down right there. I'm sorry that I didn't. But then you'll see an overview of the layout. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.